Hi everyone, today I'm going to do something a little different. Usually I start with a clean page and, oops, I must have something on my brush. But I want to do, I guess, starting off with a dirty page, and I'm even using evidently a dirty brush to put my gesso on with, but that'll be okay. It'll work out in the end. Just to show you how to take a dirty page, something that has bled through from the previous, see that was on the other side. So I'm going to gesso it first, and then after it dries, we'll come back and play. Everything is gessoed now. I purposely used a fluid gesso by Faber-Castell because I wanted to be able to see the pencil lines through my gesso. I didn't want to cover them up. I originally had done this pencil line drawing of my window for another project that I was going to do, and then decided later on I didn't like it and I wasn't going to use it. But, you know, I kept it there, and now I have a great use for it. I think it's going to work perfect with my design. I'm going to use, or start off by using this distress marker, the walnut stain that we got in the Beauty of Nature kit. And I want to use the fine end. And one thing I want to point out when you're using these pens, before I get started here, is making sure the caps are on back tightly. Now, a lot of times you put a cap on and you just snug it up and you think that's fine. But see how you can see that black line right there? Oops. I don't know if I can show that there. See that black line? That means the cap is not on securely. You have to really push that cap in and make it snap, and you do not see that black line. So make sure you do that, otherwise your pen will dry out. So what I'm going to do right now is just retrace my lines, and then I'll be back. Alright, so this was the quote and the lettering that we worked on last Sunday, and this is what I want to use on my journal page. So you can see this window that I had drawn a long time ago, and it got so detailed I think I got bored doing it. So you don't have to make your window as detailed. I was really trying to follow all of the lines in my window from my craft room. But I want to do the sun here coming out. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do my quote up here or if I'm going to do my quote down here. I'll just have to wait and see how it kind of evolves. But this is my starting point, and this is what I'm going from. So this is why it's good to make a little pre-sketch. So I'm going to take a shape here, and I'm just going to draw my sun, because I want it kind of peeking out. Now, do I want it in the center, peeking out that way, or do I want it in the corner, going that way? And I'm thinking the corner going out. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. So I've got my little shape there, so I know where that's going to be. And I like to do the sun rays. You may not like to do the sun rays. You may want to do yours just more loosely defined. But that's going to be mine. And my eraser. So I can erase my marks here. Your rays don't have to be perfect. So I just loosely do them in right now. That gives me where I want to do my colors. So I'm going to start on some colors here. I'm going to take my palette where I have a lot of golds and browns. While I was busy creating and having fun working on my page, my memory card got full and stopped recording, so I apologize for that. But I was using the mini Harlequin Crafters Workshop stencil here, and I was using two different techniques. One is I was taking my water brush, and I'll show you real quick here. I'll just do one down here. And just using a water brush. I wasn't caring if it was being messy or if it was splodging out. Just like that. I didn't care. Just getting some texture going here. And then the other way I was doing it was I took the bundled sage and did it through with my distress marker. Now, one thing, when you're using your distress marker through something like this, especially something that has these jagged little lines like this does, it's going to tear up the end of your brush. You can see that was a brand new brush, and you can see that it is already smushed. So when your tip gets where it's not good anymore, it's not clear, you can pop that out, and you can take your tip, put it right back in, and you have a brand new tip on the other side. You can see, take some needle nose pliers, grab the tip, pull it out, just turn it right back around, and push it right back down in there, okay? And that is a great way to have two tips, and you can keep one being nice and fine, and the other one for techniques like going through this stencil, okay? And you won't ruin the tip of your pen. I do really like that, that they do that in this marker, so that makes that really nice. Okay, so got to this point, and one thing I do like, if you do something and you don't like it, doesn't mean you have to keep it when you're playing with inks. This is one of my favorite reasons why I love my inks. So I'm going to go right back over that sun, and I'm going to take out anything that I had done over that. Just paint right over it, and it removes all that stuff. So there we go. Now I don't have any harlequins through that because I didn't like how that looked. Alright. Okay. Now, I want to work on, I think, outlining a little bit. So I'm going to get my black pen. I'm going to use the one in the Jelly Rolls, the Ice Cream Smooth, because it has a nice fine line to it. And I'm going to outline everything, and then I'll be back. I have my letter graph that I did last week with the bar lettering. Keep that handy so that I can refer to when I'm drawing my letters. And what I did is I used my pencil first because I had a lot of erasing to do, because I always do that. I'm not real good at measuring. But I did draw my lines horizontally and one down the middle just so that I would have a spatial relationship of where to place my letters. I'm going to use my Pigma Sensei pen today to do the lettering. So since I've already got everything sketched in, all I have to do is come back and fill in. While I'm letting my lettering dry, I'm going to take my number 3. This was a number 4 that I did the letters with. This is a number 3. And I'm going to very loosely, I want it to be scribbly because I like the sun rays having that shimmer look, like the heat is coming off of it. And you get a little bit of that motion by having loose lines. So by not putting my arm down, by holding my hand up like this, I'm able to achieve that loose, scribbly line much easier. And I don't care if I go out. I don't care. I want it to look nice and free. So I'm going to let all that dry and, whoops, let me do this first. Again, nice and loose. I'm keeping my hand up off my paper. Just letting my pen have a life of its own. Alright, so we'll let that dry and then we'll be back to finish it up. Sorry about that. After the ink had dried thoroughly from my lettering, I came back with my secure eraser and I erased all my lines. Now I'm coming in with my distress marker, the bundled sage that we got in our Beauty of Nature kit, and I am just going to color in the bars on the letters. Going to make sure my cap is on nice and secure by pushing that cap in so that I don't see that little black line. And I'm also going to add in this little bubble that we got. This came from the Beauty of Nature kit, and this is the 7 Dots Nature Walk. And I've been using some of these, as you can tell, they're all popped out. So I'm going to put this one right here, and then I just wrote the word smile. I just want to add a little bit more color, so I'm going to take my orange Jelly Roll pen and I'm going to color in the insides to the letters. I just like a little more pop of color, I think. So, you've learned a couple new tips here, I hope, with the Ranger Distress Markers. You learned how to change out the tip so that you have a nice fresh pointed tip for detail work. You learned the importance of making sure that cap is thoroughly snapped on there so that your brushes don't dry out. Okay, I want to make some little yellow spray dots here, so I've already tried this out to see how this would work, and it actually does real well. I took a paintbrush, and I'm just dipping it straight into my ink. There's my yellow ink, so I'm dipping it in. I am doing a little bit of spray here just on the edge because it got a little bit of big blots too. And then just spraying it around my sun's edge, kind of like some little sun sparkle here. I love it. So you can use your paintbrushes too in this. This is the coolest tool, I think, of the year. Sorry, I really do. I'm having way too much fun with this Tim Holtz sprayer. So anyway, now my page is finished. I'm happy, and I hope you had a good time and got to play along with us this week. If you do, show us your creation over on the Frosted Designs Facebook page. And one little hint that I want to tell you when you're doing this and you're putting a brush in, don't feed your brush in this way because you can pull back your bristles. Take your brush and feed it in this way. So you're kind of feeding it in reverse, but you're still setting it up just like before, where you're making sure your tip overlaps your brush so the air is blowing through the brush. That will give you your sprays. And when you're emptying it out, of course, you can pull your brush all the way through. So remember, don't take your brushes and enter this way. You don't want to damage your bristles, but feed it in backwards and still set it up just like you do the pens and markers. So here is another way to use this fabulous Tim Holtz sprayer tool. So get one so you can play with it. It's lots and lots of fun. Hope you have a great week. See you next Sunday when we take this to the canvas. And hope you show us what you make over on the Frosted Designs Facebook page. Bye.